How often do you read the newspaper? Or have you already gone digital? On today's edition of Studio 122, we're going to be talking with three journalists from the East Texan, which is the campus newspaper here on the campus of Texas A&M Commerce. But first, let's take a look at what they do.
But a lot of times.
I'm Cole Reisner. We have three special guests with us today. First is the managerial editor for the East Texan, Miss Kiana Campbell. Kiana, welcome to the show. Yeah, have a seat. So first, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My career goals, I'm a senior, first off, and my career goals aren't actually in like newspaper and design and reporting. They're in fine arts development, but this is a good way to get like writing experience, managing experience, and layout and design experience.
Okay, so what got you interested in writing for the newspaper?
I really just like looking at, reading news, watching the news, especially like in a tight-knit community such as A&M Commerce. I think it's important that people are highlighted, things that are going on are highlighted. And since that meant so much to me, I thought, why not join the staff?
Okay, okay. Well, how long have you always leaned towards writing for newspapers instead of like magazines or columns and things like that for online sources?
Oh no, I definitely prefer magazine and editorial style writing, but
okay.
And we do have that resource here. But I think that the news experience is very important also.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you worked at the East Texan?
This is my second semester.
Second semester, so for about a year?
Yes, about a year.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about your job title. So you're the manager, editor, or how do you say that?
No, I'm an editorial manager.
Oh, okay, editorial manager.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so tell me a little bit about that.
I have a page that I lay out, this page for on the actual newspaper, and my managing aspects are just basically like sending the pages off for printing, making sure that databases stay updated, weekly reports are done, and really anything that needs to, checking the email, stuff that needs to be managed, I manage. That makes sense?
Oh, yeah. So is it difficult to run a campus newspaper as opposed to a local, smaller market newspaper?
It can be, just because it's a weekly, so a lot of times it comes out on Thursday. So if something happens on a Thursday or a Friday, a lot of times it's just not useful information. The news is stale at that point. It can go on the internet, but we have a much higher readership in our physical version. That's probably the most difficult part.
Okay. So local newspapers like in Greenville and in Sulphur Springs may offer something every day, but you said that it's just a once a week newspaper every Thursday?
Correct.
Okay. What time does it normally go out?
Actually, it sometimes goes out on Wednesday nights. I think the latest you would see it out would be early on Thursday morning.
Okay. So could you tell me a little bit more about the process that it takes to put a newspaper together and to put it on the newsstands?
It starts with searching for story ideas, and assigning them. That can be very difficult sometimes because there's not a lot going on in commerce, obviously. So we search for things that people would like to know about. We assign them to reporters. We get them. As a staff, we edit them, make sure there's no AP errors, no grammar errors, and that the story flows and makes sense to readers. After that, we lay it out on the page using Adobe InDesign. It's a little bit difficult to master, but we do a pretty good job with it. And then they're PDF then sent off for printing, and they're returned, and our distributor puts them in each newsstand.
Okay, so they're not printed here on campus?
No, they're printed in Garland.
Oh, okay, all right. So you also write for the East Texan, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the process that you go through when it comes to writing a column, a specific column.
It depends on the type of story I'm writing. Like, I do a lot of campus event stuff just because it's obviously people want to know how their event went and read about it in the paper. With that, it's kind of difficult because it's often loud, so I can't record what I'm doing. So I have to write really fast. But that's probably the most fun part because I get to do stuff that I normally wouldn't, and it's a paycheck. So I go, I talk to people, I take photos, and then I go back and I just write my story up.
So is that something you enjoy doing the most? What would be your favorite ideal type writing over what kind of topic?
Popular music.
Pop music?
Yeah,
okay.
I would hope to eventually become like a music journalist if the fine arts thing didn't pan out.
So do you think that there is true journalism or what we call objective journalism?
You mean is journalism objective?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think it is?
It can be to a certain extent, but there's always some level of bias related to what's going on with the current state of politics or the situation or what the writer actually feels.
Do you try to be as unbiased as you can when you're trying to do your writing?
Yes, absolutely. I haven't been in a controversial situation where I would be called out for being biased, but like
It's hard to be with campus events and things, you know. It's kind of like a what happened or what's going on type thing.
Right.
So have you had any difficulties in, you know, here at the East Texan that you've noticed that wouldn't be something that other newspapers would struggle with, or any major difficulties that you've had in running the newspaper?
The major difficulty would be that you wouldn't experience in the professional world would be that the students that work for us are taking it as a class. So the level of dedication and motivation varies. And they have other things to do, whereas when you go work for a professional publication, people get paid to be journalists, so they will handle their business. With everyone juggling their responsibilities, it can be very difficult to depend on them sometimes.
So what are your future plans as a journalist here at the East Texan?
I was assigned to do like some in-depth reporting, which can be really intriguing and really difficult too. I haven't chosen a topic yet, but I'm most excited about that. Hopefully it would go to publication.
Is that what your long-term goal would be, is to be a published writer, or just, I mean, nowadays with technology, you could basically have an office at your house and not ever have to leave and write everything.
That would be nice to do something on the side, but I think more of like fundraising, development, public relations is more my field.
Have you had anything published yet?
Yes, I've had several articles published last semester and this semester also.
Oh, okay, okay. So what do you think, how do you see the future of newspaper in this country?
I believe a lot of it will move to the internet, but the actual writing art form will never be replaced with the 24-hour video news cycle. One, it's not very good. It's often biased, and with our stuff, if you click on the opinion link, you have opinion.
Okay. Well, how do you see the future of the East Texan?
We just got that new layout. Hopefully everyone's seen it. And the stories, to me, are a lot better than they were last semester. They're a little more community-centric and based on the people here. So if we continue in that direction, I think that our readership should remain constant.
Well, is there anything that you want anybody to know just about newspaper in general or the East Texan?
No, I guess just support all local newspapers. They're kind of struggling, but it's a good medium.
Well, I mean, you know, now with like things like the iPad,
right.
You know, people just, in the whole idea of trying to go green, you know, people don't have to have paper anymore, and they can still read their iPad or have their newspaper on their iPad and be able to get all their daily news and things like that.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
Well, Kiana, I just want to go ahead and say thank you for coming on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
And the next time the East Texan comes out, we will make sure to get a copy of it. All right?
All right, thanks.
Well, we'll be back in just a few moments to have our next guest on the show and keep talking about the East Texan here on the campus of Texas A&M University Commerce.